Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to do the first real oil change on the 68 Ford Thunderbird. The first oil change I did when I got it to get it running, that was what I call the sacrificial oil change. We let it run a little. We drained all the old oil in it that had set for like 40 years. And I put cheap Walmart oil in it just so we could run it a bit and see how it did before we wasted the money on this like $70 oil change. We got the high performance Royal Purple. That's got a high zinc content in it for your non-roller cam motors. And HP 3001 K&N high performance oil filter. So we're just running this, let it run for about 5 minutes or so to get the engine good and warm and get the oil circulated, because you want to get all the contaminants and all the kind of sludged up stuff moving around in there off the bottom of the oil pan, so you can get as much of the bad stuff out as you can. So let's roll under here and get the oil changed. Okay, now this thing has like the most gargantuan oil plug. It's a 7/8. So we got our ratchet here with our 7/8. Now you see all these tricks on YouTube and everywhere else people do so they don't get oil on their fingers. I'll tell you right now, the best one is experience. If you know what you're doing, you've done this a lot, you usually do it oil free. I think all that's leaking on this, for oil wise, is the gasket is cracked on the front of the intake, and it's seeping down a little. Should be getting toward the end here. This one's a little tight all the way. Tell you one way to do it, so long ratchet, keep your hand away from it. Usually get my fingers in there though to get, there you go, boom. Got like a drip on my socket. One little drip there. So there you go. Drained her, oil free. Yeah, that's black. Let me say, this is our sacrificial oil. The cheap Walmart, that's what we call it. Me and my cousin, old Barrows. You know, make sure the washer's good on here. It's good, but it's kind of run its way out. Should run itself back in when I tighten it. So see here and wait for it. I think that tire's a little low, which helps because this tire's full. That one's a little low, so our oil should be headed right for the drain. Little things like that can help you a little. Craziest one I ever did where they had something like that. In the Air Force, they used to have to do, call it a 7-degree nose up defuel. They actually lift the nose of the aircraft 7 degrees and they kind of pivot it to one side a little, and it pushes all the fuel you possibly can to the port where you fill it and defuel it. That way they get the most fuel out that they possibly can. It's for when they're doing maintenance on certain fuel systems and stuff like that. Just a little something interesting to know. I had to do a good few of them. We're about done here. Got a little piddle out here. It's kind of spurting around. I'll try to get as much out as I can. Then the oil filter, as long as somebody knows what they was doing, change your oil, you normally don't need a wrench for it. So we'll get you over there here in a minute. See if we can get that oil filter off with my bare hand here. I say a lot of people, and it's just kind of piddling like that, they're just like, oh, whatever, I'll just put the plug back in. We're in no hurry. we're just chillaxing. Reposition the camera here. We're just going to get this drove back in nice and tight when we get done here. See if we can rotate my camera around here. Find a good angle for the oil filter where you guys can see that. Oh, that's a hard one. It's way up there. Here you go. Kind of. Okay. Yeah, you can at least see me pull it off, and I'll show you my little tricks to that. Get my oil down here. Get my filter down here. Okay. What you're going to do is just grab this with your giant mongoloid crazy hands here and just turn that off. This one's Motorcraft. The one I got is the K&N High Performance to replace it. So I did run a decent oil filter on it. Went with a factory OEM one. Okay, got enough oil out there. Like I said, that oil gets a lot of contaminants and that settled in the bottom. And you got to get all that out. So, I gotta go grab a pair of pliers real quick. Okay, the little seal was so tight on the oil plug, I had to go get a pair of pliers to hold the seal while I cranked it back down. Okay, so here's the tricky part, getting this off without oil on your hands. So these ones that sit sideways, they tend to fill full of oil, and when you're loosening them, it starts leaking oil down the filter sometimes, like so. And I'm going to push up on it a little. Try to help it get out of there so I don't get a bunch on me. Not that I'm scared of oil, I'm just trying to show you guys. There's one trick I've used on this. It works pretty good. You put a Ziploc baggie on it, and you run it all the way up to the block, and then when you unscrew it, any oil that leaks out leaks right into the Ziploc bag. So there you got one spot there for oil on there. Okay, you put that on there upside down. There you go. Okay, now we're going to get our new filter prepped. A lot of people don't do this. Fact is, you don't want this seal to go on dry. The other thing I can't show you too well on here, I can see it, it's nice and chrome and pretty. You want to make sure up on the engine block that the old seal all come off and it's all clean, so that you don't have a bad seal there. If you get a double seal, you're really in trouble. But there's little pieces or something that leak. Now what I'm going to do is stick my finger in this new oil. Kind of defeats the purpose, not getting any on me. And then you just move it around, wet that seal up right there. Make sure it's good and lubed so that it seals properly. Okay. Put this pretty K&N filter on here. They have a little nut deal on the end so you can actually tighten them on and off with a ratchet. But if you properly do it, you're going to hit it right there to where it seats. Okay. And then you're going to turn it a half a turn. Pretty much. Almost there. About half to 3/4 of a turn there. There you go. Like I say, if you don't get it on too tight, they should come off by hand and not ever leak or anything. So there we go. Now we just got to go up top and fill her up. Get you guys up here. Now I got oil all over my one hand. Okay. Let's try to set this little stand up here to get a good view there. Okay. Need to take off the valve covers and get them all repainted and put some pretty stuff on here. Do her all up, but we got time for that later. Okay, so over here my valve, or my dipstick, is actually goes through the timing chain cover on this model. So I'm gonna pull that out. Okay, and we're gonna start by putting 4 quarts in here. Sometimes she takes 5. I think this model only takes 4. Depending on the oil pan, some of these 460s and that actually take up to 10 quarts, depending on what pan and everything you're running. Oh, we're gonna try to not spill it. Should have got my funnel. Okay, we're gonna run it up to about 4 quarts. Let's see where we're at here. I'm gonna have to get my shop towels out that I got from my Busted Radial garage. Old Chris over at Busted Radial, he keeps me in some shop towels. Might have to go grab a box here real quick, wipe some of that up. Yeah, these blue shop towels, coolest thing ever working on cars. We're gonna clean some of this up so don't have it all burning and stuff on the motor. Okay, and we're gonna check our level real quick, see where we're at. We'll clean our dipstick all off here. You want to give it a minute to all settle and stuff every time you pour. Okay, where are we at? We are just a hair off full. Literally, we're, see, we show you guys on the camera there. See, there's my oil line, there's my full line. Might just wiggle a little bit, just a tiny little bit in there. And sometimes you want to check it like twice. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, we're about 3.5 quarts or so is what we got in there. Here in a second I'll fire it up too so we can, man, I'm doing horrible pouring oil today. We'll back it off here in a minute so we got the car level. Probably would have been just fine if I wouldn't have added any, because see, when the front comes down here a little, that's where the pan is. So here we go. I'll fire her up real quick and back her down off the stands. See if you guys can ride there. She rides pretty smooth, so it should just come on down. Okay, let's check, give it a second, and we'll check this one more time. I'm going to get in here and soak up as much oil as I can. I scrub my valve cover up a little. I tried some super clean on there, did a video. Stuff don't work worth the beans on this old caked on stuff. So, I even broke my rule and pressure washed it. You really shouldn't pressure wash an engine. They weren't built for that kind of pressure. Things are built to be watertight, but they're not built for like 14 million foot-pounds of pressure or whatever. Okay, so we're right up to our little full bubble there. Good stuff. I'm pretty good at this. I've done it a time or two in all my years of mechanicking. So thank you guys for checking out my video here and watching me work on the old Thunderbird. Really appreciate all the support. See, that's one rare motor there you don't really see much. So really high compression. These are on like an 11.5 to 1 compression ratio from the factory. You see that valve cover there is pretty bad. A lot of paint coming off of it when I had you guys on. It's still quite pretty. It just has some junk on there. The super clean didn't take off no matter how I scrubbed it, used it. 2 different products. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.